I don't believe that anyone can completely get rid of their social media addiction. That's why in this video I want to share with you 5 ways that I'm trying to control mine. We're gonna start with the easiest one and then build our way to the hardest but also the most effective one. Let's get right into it. The most obvious thing to do is to turn off all of your notifications, but even if you do this, our phones are built to send you notifications and they will always find something to bother you with. Even right now, I have like a couple of notifications on my phone, which I haven't really turned on or anything. So on top of this, in the last several months, I've implemented 2 more things. First one is extremely simple. I just turn off all kinds of sounds except for my ringtone when somebody is calling me. And the second one is actually what I think makes a huge difference. And that is turning off your screen for notifications. You will always have some kind of a blink or even your whole screen lights up and you will be encouraged to look at it. It's just an instinct and this drags you away from whatever you're doing, and obviously you want to see what's the notification about. But when you have your screen completely off, you don't know that it's there. There's no way that your phone will tell you that you have a notification unless you pick it up and you start looking into it. My phone is always around me and I anyway compulsively check it all the time, but since I've implemented these simple things, when I'm doing something important, I have realized that I completely forget about my phone and I can actually do some proper deep work. Another very simple trick that you can implement right away is to limit the social networks that you're on. For example, I primarily use Facebook because I'm freaking old, and also YouTube. I have deleted my Instagram profile, also TikTok and any other kind of apps that really just drag me into the loophole. Also, LinkedIn is a thing that sends you 1,000 notifications per day, and that's why I have logged out of it from my phone. Once you have picked your poison, there's another thing that you can do, and that is use an add-on to eradicate your newsfeed. I'm using such a tool for my Facebook feed on my laptop, but I still haven't gotten the courage to do it also for YouTube or to apply it also to my phone. Even if you completely get rid of your notifications and you limit the time spent on your phone, you will still have these inner urges to get some quick dopamine hits, and that is completely normal. For me, these moments come when I'm in a transition period. So for example, when I'm waiting for the elevator, or I'm waiting on a red light, or waiting for a friend, these little moments when you have a few minutes to spare and you're wondering what to do, you basically directly go and pick up your phone and scroll through something. This little habit is deeply entrenched in our subconscious mind and obviously is a direct result from our addiction. I think it's also one of the hardest things to overcome, and I don't really think you should. Actually, it's a better way to deal with it when you replace the activity that you were doing until now with something completely different, which hopefully is a little bit more productive. For example, I just love listening to audiobooks in my car, not only when I'm waiting on a red light, but in general when I'm going somewhere and I have more than 5 or 10 minutes time of travel. Of course, if you're not into books, you can listen to a podcast or something that will give you some value. Another type of replacement activity is if you have a passion or something that you want to learn more about, just start doing it during these little moments. For example, we were really interested in France after our visit in Paris, and I wanted to learn more about the country and the history and what was their role, for example, in World War II. So that's what I started doing in my spare time. I just watched a video on the subject or read a news article or something, looked at a map, how it looked by the time of Napoleon, and all those things that actually brought me a lot of value and kind of enriched me instead of just mindless scrolling through the media. Of course, I don't think it's realistic that you will be able to do this 100% of the time. I personally don't do it 100% of the time. But even if you manage to do it like 50% of those urges that come to you, that's a huge win, not only in controlling your social media addiction, but also in enriching your life with some new information. Excessive free time is one of the biggest enemies of a fulfilling life. Of course, we all need to catch a break from everyday stuff, but too many breaks result in forming a bad habits. The easiest way to solve this is with a simple to-do list, and I can tell you this from experience. Unless I have my day sorted out in advance, I end up being a lot more unproductive than usual. If I write down all the things that I need to do the following day, I turn out to be extremely productive and actually feel happier at the end of the day. The obvious after effect of this is that you get a lot more stuff done and you have more productive days, but at the same time, you are going to stay away from the low-hanging fruit of social media. It's much easier to keep your distance when you're properly busy. This next one has been one of the hardest ways for me to control my social media addictions. For many different reasons, people find it hard to stay still and be alone with their thoughts. Some people are scared of their thoughts, some people are scared of loneliness. Me personally, I'm hyperactive. I always need to do. I always need to keep myself busy with something, and in these moments where I have nothing to do, I feel kind of guilty and I get back to my phone looking for things to do and to fill my time. This creates a lot of anxiety, and over time it builds to chronic anxiety. The best way I've found for myself to deal with this is to meditate every single morning for at least 10 minutes. This for me is the perfect way to stay still and be alone with my thoughts. Of course, not everyone's into meditation, so there's another way to do this. Just make sure that your phone is far away when you wake up. There are a couple of sacred moments to be alone with your thoughts, and that is the time just before you fall asleep and right after you wake up. If you have your phone near you, probably the most obvious thing that you're going to do is start scrolling, check the news or check who wrote to you during the evening. But if you don't have this, you can spend some time just waking up properly and enjoy thinking about whatever you want to think of. Personally, during these moments, I like to focus on my goals or the things that I have to do during the day or how my day went, and if I'm satisfied with it. I also focus on the things that I'm grateful for and also on the people that I love. Another thing that I do from time to time is to have like no phone days, or even if a full day is too much for you, you can start with just a few hours. Go for a walk or go to the store, and while you're walking, don't try to, look in your phone, but just, look around you, spend some time thinking about stuff, and you'll find this very liberating with time, and you'll see that you're kind of getting away from this addiction and that you're starting to get the hang of it. Finding a purpose in life is probably one of the hardest things that anyone has to do, but also it's one of the most effective when it comes to overcoming addictions. I believe actually you can overcome any kind of addiction by finding a purpose. I'm sure you have heard stories about alcoholics or even drug addicts that transform their lives just because they have found a higher calling. The main reason for this, I believe, is that you become completely obsessed by your purpose. You want to chase it. It kind of takes over your mind, and you want to dedicate all of your time in order to chase it and to do better. In simple words, you simply substitute your bad addiction with something that is, in a way, a positive addiction. I can probably do a full video about finding meaning in life, but in this one, I just want to share with you a few questions that might help you find yours. What are some of the things you truly love? Who are the most important people around you? If you could do one thing for the rest of your life, what would that thing be? How can you start investing more of your time and efforts into such a thing? That is pretty much everything for this video, guys. In the first comment down below, I'm going to post a short summary of everything we talked about, because I think it's been quite a lot of information. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit a like button, and also I'm gonna see you in the next one.